resulting in itchiness. Good afternoon and welcome to State NewsFile. I'm Sean Marks. The handsome Zach Stewart will have sports coming up, but first, let's check in with the incomparable Hannah Lapine with the weather. Hannah, how's it going out there? Looks cold.
Yeah, I can't even lie to you. It is super windy. I really did not dress for the weather. However, the high today is +4. Really doesn't feel like it. Last year this time it was -7. However, that does not compare to what it was back in the 80s. The record high was 20 degrees. I always say I was born in the wrong era. The record low was -31 back in 1947. And that year was the same year the Cold War started. Coincidence? I don't know. You tell me, guys.
Hannah Lapine with all the fun facts, am I right?
Of course.
Perfect. So, Zach, we're going to be getting this a little bit later, but the Raptors had an awesome game last night, hey?
Oh, finally won. Losing 3 straight, and they're like matching expectations this year.
Absolutely, especially coming off of like a winning season like last year. They've got quite the reputation to uphold.
Of course, the reputation is high, and they're doing good.
Well, that's good to hear, but we'll get more into that later. Residents in the Riverbend neighborhood got a rude and devastating awakening late last night as 2 houses caught fire and nearly burnt to the ground. Amy Michaelis joins us live in the St. Newsroom. Amy, you were at the scene earlier today. It must be tough for these families.
Yeah, Sean, it definitely was a pretty devastating scene to see. Fire crews were called at around 11 o'clock last night to a home on Riverstone Road. When the firefighters arrived, 2 houses were already engulfed in flames.
Doorbell started ringing 100 times, so we looked out the window and saw the building was fully engulfed in flames. And I dialed 911 and talking to them, they had already received a call, but I got to alert them that the second house was already on fire.
The street was lit with the sparks and heat coming off of the 2 houses, which had only taken minutes to form into massive fires.
Biggest fire I've ever seen. I was shaking. You could feel the heat inside my house.
Heavy smoke filled the street, and neighbors watched in panic as the fire started to spread. Fire crews had to aggressively attack the fire to protect other neighboring homes. Investigators are still unsure of what caused the fire.
But within 5 minutes, the whole house was gone. The wind came in and Sparks were flying right down to the end of the block.
4 people escaped the home safely, but 1 person was treated for minor burns and another was sent to hospital due to smoke inhalation. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks, Amy. Amy Michaelis reporting live from the State Newsroom. City police are investigating a bizarre incident today in the Mission area of southwest Calgary. Authorities say that they responded to a report that someone was in distress in the 300 block of 19th Avenue Southwest. After they arrived, a fire broke out on the 3rd floor around 8 o'clock and all residents were evacuated. Firefighters responded to the call to support police at the building. 1 person was transported to the hospital in stable condition. The investigation is ongoing. 13 detained Canadians in Ethiopia have posted bail, but it's still unsure when they'll be able to return home. Volunteers and staff with Canadian Humanitarian, a medicine hat-based charity, were detained after being accused of practicing without permission and using expired medicine. The group has received fair treatment while in jail, but Ethiopian authorities say they may need to stay in the country until the investigation is complete. Canadian Humanitarian is currently disputing the allegations. A former Mount Royal University hockey captain has been acquitted of all charges following a drug-fueled incident that happened 2 years ago. In January of 2018, Janet Hamnett was attacked in the early hours of the morning by Matthew Brown. Brown broke into Hamnett's home while naked and under the influence of magic mushrooms and alcohol and attacked Hamnett with a broom handle, seriously injuring her arms and hands. Justice Michelle Hollins ruled in court yesterday to acquit Brown of all charges as he was in a state of delirium and not in control of his own actions. As COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, continues to spread to new countries, Canadians are beginning to make preparations such as stocking up on food and other necessities. With the high demand for non-perishable food items, it's becoming difficult for stores to keep up. On top of that, some Costco's and big box stores have completely sold out of toilet paper and face masks in recent weeks. Bryden Solutions, a preparedness company in Calgary, has nearly doubled its staff from 6 to 10 workers in just a few short days to help keep up. According to Bryden, the amount of orders they received in February are usually what they do all year. Canadians are also being warned about traveling to different countries, with options in North America being highly suggested. Some countries majorly affected by COVID-19 outside of China include Iran, South Korea, and most recently, Italy. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 92,000 confirmed cases across the globe, and the death toll is now over 3,000. Alberta dentists are being advised to cancel appointments due to concerns surrounding the coronavirus. The Alberta government has advised dentists to cancel the appointments of anyone who have visited an at-risk country or have been in contact with anyone who has in the past 2 weeks. They are also rescheduling appointments for anyone who has a fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. Dental emergencies are still being accepted, but patients have to come in at the end of the day and are being given surgical masks upon arrival. Surgery from stomach and intestinal cancer can be a stressful procedure, possibly resulting in the removal of part or even all of the stomach. But a new surgical approach at the Peter Lougheed Center right here in Calgary is giving patients facing certain types of cancer hope. As Austin Lee reports, this innovative new surgery is changing the way we look at certain types of gastrointestinal cancers.
6,000 Albertans are affected by gastrointestinal or GI cancer each year. Andy Blundell was the first person in Alberta to undergo a new procedure designed to limit the invasiveness of these types of surgeries. But Blundell wasn't worried about being the first. He was just glad to know there was an option.
I'm just very, very lucky that the technology developed more quickly than my tumours did. And the following afternoon, I was out playing snooker with my buddy.
When treated early, these types of GI cancers can be cured, but with the old surgical method, patients would likely need to have a portion of their stomach or intestines removed. Before this new technique was introduced, patients undergoing surgery for these types of gastrointestinal cancers could stay in hospital for several days, and recovery could take as long as 6 weeks. This new approach is a huge leap forward for those dealing with GI cancers.
Now we can actually operate through a scope, which is placed either in the stomach or in the intestine, and use little tools through the scope without making any skin incisions, and carefully, dissect, isolate the tumor, and cut under it to take it off in one piece.
The Peter Lougheed Center is the first hospital on the prairies to offer this surgery, but the hope is to train surgeons across the province.
I think the demand will be increasing, and we certainly hope to make this more widely available as a preferred intervention in these types of cases.
AHS says there are plans in place to formally introduce this procedure in Edmonton later this year. For State NewsFile, I'm Austin Lee.
The recent budget released by the Alberta government has revealed some big changes coming to a third of Alberta's provincial parks. Some parks will be facing closures of some services, such as overnight camping, while others will be closed down completely. Darren Bain has the story.
The provincial government is looking at privatizing 164 of Alberta's parks and are looking for partners to buy the land. That has conservation groups wondering what will happen to that land.
The government would remove these parks from the park system, put them up for sale. If they don't get bought by somebody, then they would just turn into Crown land. It would not be managed by anybody.
People using the parks are worried about what that might mean for their natural areas.
This horrifies me that we are privatizing our natural resources. A lot of people can't afford to do, big holidays, and they go to the provincial parks.
Fish Creek Provincial Park here in Calgary isn't one of the 20 parks facing some sort of closure or one of the 164 parks facing some sort of privatization. Close to 40% of parks being managed by the provincial government will be affected by the budget. Environment Minister Jason Nixon says the province can no longer afford the retail side of parks, and he says Albertans can't continue to spend $86 million of tax dollars and only see $36 million come in. The estimated amount of money that will be saved by the cuts to provincial parks is around $5 million. The economic impact from privatizing parks is huge and will mostly be felt by the consumer.
And the biggest impact is on us. When we don't get to go out and enjoy these areas, when we don't have accessible areas for recreation, we don't have a drive then to go and protect these areas.
The general public has had a mostly negative reaction to the announcement. A petition to stop the privatization of parks has already close to 31,000 signatures. For State NewsFile, I'm Darren Bain.
In the wake of provincial budgetary cutbacks, several of Alberta's post-secondary institutions have had to make major overhauls to staffing and services. ACE reporter Dawson Enns joins us live from Heritage Hall. Dawson, what do we know about SAIT's response?
Following the budget announcement last Thursday, an email circulated on social media with a statement from SAIT President and CEO David Ross saying the job losses are a result of the cuts in October's 2019 provincial budget. The budget announcement hit all post-secondary institutions across the province, and SAIT is no exception. SAIT's Academic Faculty Association President Blair Howes has been kept very busy this week.
You did see in Dr. Ross's message that his expectation is around 650 seat cuts to various programs, apprenticeship programs. We had the same cut about 2 years ago, so not a surprise.
Officials say the cuts will be made in the administrative, academic, and management divisions, as well as unfilled positions that will not be replaced. 98 of the eliminated jobs were Alberta Union of Provincial Employee positions, including 30 vacant union contracts that will not be filled.
There is some impacts coming. We heard from Dr. Ross that there will be some cuts, and due to budgetary constraints, there's going to be some positions lost across the board. So.
In an emailed statement, SAIT spokesman Chris Gerritsen said that the senior leadership has taken time to review all possibilities to create a budget that mitigates impact on the quality of instruction and student success. The 2020 cuts have been impacting post-secondary institutions across Alberta, with the 2019 budget leading to the University of Calgary's elimination of over 250 jobs in November. Sean?
Thanks, Dawson. Dawson Ends reporting from outside Heritage Hall on State Campus. 230 positions will be eliminated beginning this week and through the end of May. Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast for you after the break. But first, Hannah Lepine has a look on what's going on around Calgary this week.
Tons of International Women's Day events happening all over the city this weekend. But if you're not celebrating, Kraft is hosting Burchella Beer and Beverage Festival Thursday night at 5. Those tickets are $10. You can find those on the Facebook event page. The group Sensation Kids Bop World Tour is taking a stop at the Jubilee on Friday at 7. Tickets start at $70. If you want something more affordable, the Calgary Humane Society is hosting Meowga. It's like regular yoga, but with cats and wine. That's taking place Friday at 6. Those tickets are $25. Get your wizard on as Fiddler's Courtyard presents Tipsy Trivia, Harry Potter edition. Those tickets start at $11 and at the door $15. For those who are celebrating International Women's Day, on Saturday, Fort Calgary will be hosting an event at 11 dedicated to the special day.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
It's so good to be back inside in the warm. Let's take a look at that full forecast, starting with the west side of the country. In Vancouver, it is partly cloudy. It's pretty dry over there right now. However, they will be getting some rain over the next few days. In Edmonton, it's 4. We do have a cold front moving in from the north. That's going to be traveling along down the U.S. border and into the east side. Speaking of the east, down in Toronto, it's 5 degrees and partly cloudy there. Just above Quebec, just north there, they do have a wind warning in effect. However, I don't think it's anything too serious. Over on the coast, Halifax, it's 7 and rainy. Up in St. John's, about the same temperatures there. However, that rain will be sticking around for the next 5 days. If you are looking to get an early spring break, let's take a look at the resorts. All resorts across the board are getting beautiful temperatures. Palm Springs, Cancun, and Orlando getting some cloud coverage, but still extremely sizzling. Barbados, sunny and 29. Honolulu getting some showers. Those are going to stick around until Saturday. And lastly, Las Vegas, perfect shopping weather. It's 23 degrees and sunny. In Calgary today, it is +3. However, that wind, that super cold wind you saw earlier coming in from the west at 17 kilometers an hour is making it feel more like -2. However, we do have beautiful sun in the sky, and tomorrow that sun will be sticking around with warmer temperatures before we dip down into colder. Up in Fort McMurray, it is the hot spot for the province today, and as we get more south, we do see colder temperatures and worse conditions. In Calgary, it is partly cloudy and 4. Lethbridge 1 right now. We do have a jet stream traveling in from the BC coast that is dipping down into that Lethbridge area and rising back up into the Yellowknife. So yeah, that is definitely affecting those lower temperatures for sure. Let's take a look at the 5-day. Tonight, it will be clear with a low of -1. Tomorrow, that last day of sunshine, make sure you get out and enjoy it. The high will be +9. Friday, first day of snow, high of 4. Saturday, a low of -22. Make sure you bundle up. And if you're heading out to the mountains today, let's check out the ski report. Fernie giving us thickness with a base of 288 centimeters. 49 runs are open, and the run of the day is Northridge. It will be mostly cloudy with a high of 6. Panorama mixed sun and clouds and a chilling -12 at the summit. They got 8 centimeters of snow overnight, leaving them a base of 132 centimeters. Sunshine all lifts are open, 24 centimeters of fresh snow over the past day, leaving a base of 190 centimeters. If you want an early taste of spring skiing, that's probably where you want to head. Norquay having a skinny moment with a base of 105 centimeters, with another 13 centimeters adding to that overnight. It's partly cloudy out there with a high of -6. All runs and lifts are open today at Lake Louise in totally gnarly conditions. They have gotten a half a meter of snow in the last 6 days. Today it will be cloudy with a high of -8.
So, Zach, I hear the St. Man's Trojan hockey team just finished the regular season.
Exactly, the season just wrapped up. And speaking of that, after a spectacular 4-3 win against the Red Deer College Kings last weekend at home, the St. Trojans men's hockey team finished off the regular season placing 4th in the ACAC. Erica Rowling has more on what the men are focusing on going into their first round.
The St. Men's hockey team has been working hard and getting ready for its first round of playoffs this weekend. This upcoming playoff run will be the last for many players, and team captain Colton McCarthy is one of them. He's played for 4 years as a Trojan and has high hopes for the series against the Vikings.
Yeah, I think after Christmas there we ended up beating Nate at home, so that was one of the turning points of the season. We started out a little slow, but when we came back for Christmas and beat Nate, that started us on a roll. So we'll see how playoffs goes and hopefully win the championship this year.
St. won their last ACAC championship back in the 2013-2014 season, and if they win this year, it would be a first for many players. Head coach Tyler Drader is optimistic the team will have a good chance against Augustana in the first round.
Yeah, I think we got to control the puck well. We got to make sure we capitalize on our opportunities, and we got to stay out of the penalty box. And probably the last thing is just about not giving them up any odd man rushes.
The Vikings had the home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs last year against St. Didn't help them much. They won game 1, and then St. won 2 and 3. And that led them to the semifinals against the Nate Ooks, and they fell short in game 2. They have the home ice advantage this year. What they're going to do with it and if it's going to help them, it'll all have to play out, and we'll see. It'll start here at Campus Center on Friday at 7 p.m. For St. NewsFile, I'm Erica Rowling.
It's hockey night in Calgary, and after a shutout victory over the Florida Panthers on Sunday, the Calgary Flames will be taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets at home on home ice later tonight. Carlos Togg joins us live from the newsroom. Carlos, can you give us a preview of tonight's game?
Well, Zach, even though the Flames are coming off a win over the Panthers, they're currently at a disadvantage on home ice, having lost 6 out of their 8 games at the Saddle Dome. But despite this, the Flames do hold one victory over the Blue Jackets, and this came on November 2nd. That saw goals from Matthew Tkachuk, Sean Monahan, and Sam Bennett.
With the playoffs imminent, things will be heating up in the Scotiabank Saddledome tonight when the Calgary Flames face off against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Flames' home record has only led to 2 victories in their last 8 games, leaving many fans concerned about their playoff chances if this slump continues.
We only have 4 more games on the road. The rest of the games are at home. So if we don't, then we won't make the playoffs. So as a Flames fan, I predict that tonight is the beginning of a 7-game winning streak.
The game tonight will kick off a 5-game homestand for the Flames with the goal of securing a playoff position. Some fans believe even though the Flames aren't ranked as high as last year, it could be a better position to be in heading into the playoffs.
I think it's a different year. I think that because they're not in first place, they're a little hungrier. That's probably where you want to be. There's a lot of pressure being number 1. When you got nothing to lose, it's a better position to be in. So every game counts right now in the position they're in. They're floating between third spot and wild card.
Despite suffering a late season slump on home ice, the Flames were able to kick off this season with a strong home showing, giving some fans hope for the upcoming games.
We can't forget the beginning of the season. They had an amazing home record. Their road record has been off the charts. Last year they had one of the best home records, if not the best home record, I think, next to Tampa Bay in the league. So we have it in us, and we know when we play on the road, we can play well. We just have to tighten up and play more north to south and less east to west.
Flames player Elias Lindholm was rumored to be out of the game after missing practice on Tuesday for a maintenance day, but it's looking like the right winger will be in fact playing tonight, and that's really good news for the Flames if they're looking for a late season surge. Back to you, Zach.
Carlos Togg reporting from the newsroom. The other Alberta team was in action last night as the Oilers were on the road to face the Dallas Stars. Let's pick this game up halfway through the second, where the Oilers are pressuring on the power play. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he'll take the puck in the slot and wires it past Udobin to give the Oilers a 1-0 lead. Now in the third, with the Stars on the power play, Jamie Benn will tee up John Klingberg for the wicket timer, tying up the game at 1. This game will need overtime, and in overtime, Alex Chiasson will take the puck and look for the pass across over to Leon Draisaitl, but decides to just bury it himself. What a nice goal, nice decision there. Alex Chiasson netted the game winner in overtime to extend the Oilers' win streak to 3 games. The Oilers sit second in the Pacific Division. Also in the NHL, the Toronto Maple Leafs played the San Jose Sharks. With the Sharks already up 1-0 in the second, the Leafs are looking to answer when Austin Matthews is able to pot the rebound to tie up the game. A minute later, the Sharks bite back as Suomelo banks in a tight-angle shot. And just a couple minutes after that, the Sharks are looking for their 3rd goal of the game when Evander Kane goes for a wraparound, but there was a sprawled-out Jack Campbell to meet him. What amazing desperation save that was. Later in the frame, Austin Matthews takes the puck into the zone and will slide it over to his line mate, Mitch Marner, who takes care of the rest, going through the legs and then 5-hole on Martin Jones. What a beauty that one was. In the third, Nason takes a bad bounce off the boards and gets it to go past Campbell to extend the lead 3-2. Less than a minute later, the Sharks will put this game away, with Evander Kane taking it into the zone and wiring the puck past Campbell. With the loss, the Leafs are now 5-5 in the last 10 games and sit 3rd in the Atlantic Division. The injury-riddled Raptors are in Phoenix looking to get back in the win column against the Suns. Down early in the game, Kyle Lowry looks to flip momentum as he drives hard to the bucket, scoring the and one. A couple minutes later, Lowry, still in attack mode, will drive hard again, making another tough layup. In the second quarter, Pascal Siakam runs the length of the floor and converts a beautiful Euro step layup past Cam Johnson. Look at that footwork, that's nice and crafty there. Halfway through the third quarter, the Raptors turn defense into offense when Boucher comes up with a huge block that sends Siakam and Anunoby down the floor when Siakam finishes it off with an alley-oop. Late in the quarter, Lowry looks to put the game away by hitting a smooth step-back 3. Lowry's still hungry for more as he hits a cutting Siakam for the easy layup in the paint. Up by 1 with 2 minutes left, Lowry will find Chris Boucher in the corner for a big 3-pointer that will ice that game and put it away. With the big contributions from Lowry, Siakam, and Powell, the Raptors snap their 3-game losing streak. And that's a look at sports.
Well, it's pretty good for the Raptors to be able to come back, and hopefully they can keep going it that way.
Finally, break the 3-game losing streak. Let's keep this win streak going.
Absolutely. Those are today's top stories. Coming up after the break, Francesca Lewis dives into the Calgary music scene and how it can benefit the community.
Hey, I'm Freddie the Ferret, and I'd like to sing a little song about my brothers and sisters. It's not just cats and dogs that need a home. There's furry little ferrets that are all alone that could use someone just like you. So check out ferrets.ca. Don't delay, we need a home today. That's ferrets.ca.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Music has an interesting way of affecting us individually in different ways. We spoke with a few musicians around Calgary to see the impact music can have and how you can get into and start adding to the growing music community of Calgary. Franny Lewis brings us the story.
I've seen music create community. Actually, Calgary, I am so thankful for Calgary musicians.
It's helped me to make a lot of friends, actually, because I've met a ton of new people, and it's also given me a chance to kind of do something for the community.
Music has helped me in a lot of ways, like coping with emotions, even helping out with friends. It's given me some things to do during pastimes, during downtimes and everything. Some ways that people can start learning music, honestly, the easiest thing is asking a friend.
YouTube is great. Websites, if you're like me, and sometimes it's just hard to keep up with YouTube, so you just gotta read how to do it as well.
I just love that music is a language that doesn't need to be spoken. It's sort of just a thing that we listen to, and we're able to understand it and to relate to people through it. And yeah, it's just amazing. Music is awesome, really.
If we don't invest in musicians, either by becoming one ourselves, even on an amateur level, or trying to get our kids into it, then we will lose that ability to produce that.
Music has a much bigger, deeper impact on everything in life than we give it credit for.
That's it for all of us at State NewsFile. We'll see you next time.